Hi everybody, welcome to 5 Minute Ministries. Today I want to address something that is huge on the internet right now, on social media and just about any outlet you can name, and that is the gender war that is going on. Now, I'm not here to address certain specifics, and I'm not here to fuel the fire, but I want you to have an understanding, because the gender war really is completely ridiculous. Both genders are trying to tear down each other in order to either act or feel superior, depending on the agenda of the person involved in the gender war. But I call it ridiculous because ultimately, no matter what you say about one gender, you can pretty much say about the other. People say, well, men cheat. Well, women are liars. Women are lazy. Men leave their families. Women leave their families. They're only out for themselves. And both sides will volley those things back and forth and come up with examples of, well, here's the exception. I'm the exception. Here's why I'm the exception. And they will make all kinds of excuses and reasons, especially in the comment section, to justify themselves. Or they will justify themselves with another video, a stitch, I believe they call it. So in this day and age, the gender war has been escalated. And the reason it's been escalated is because it's so easy to fire ammunition now. Before, it was just bumper stickers and keychains, or it was on a personal level and a private level. Commercials, TV shows, and all kinds of things fed into that as well. But now, just about everybody you can name has access to it. And a lot of people are feeding into it. And it gets them views, it gets them likes, it gets them shares, it gets them attention. But ultimately, the idea is they're looking at everybody else and the faults of everybody else, not taking any time at all to look at themselves. See, the problem isn't the outside world. The problem is within yourself. There's a lot of problems in the outside world, of course. There's a lot of problems no matter whether you're male or female. And we personally can be the cause of those problems. Sometimes we know it, sometimes we don't. But we want to be selfish, we want to be arrogant, we want to be prideful. We want to say, I am superior to that. I would never do that. These people think they're so great. Well, here's a reason they're not. And again, both sides do it. The point I'm trying to make is we're all essentially selfish. We're all essentially evil. Now, nobody wants to hear that. So, I'm a good person. Actually, you're not. You are selfish. You complain. You think thoughts that you should not be thinking. You lust after people you should not be lusting after. You do all the things that God has said are wrong. God had said, don't do these things, and we end up doing them. And I am no exception. I also do the things that I know I shouldn't do. And I struggle with that day in and day out. The exception is I have the Holy Spirit to help me to overcome those decisions, to not, as they say, let the intrusive thoughts win, but to pick a moral, higher, biblical ground. Now, it doesn't mean I'm morally superior, because let's face it, that's another thing people give it, well, they're morally, spiritually, physically, emotionally, and mentally superior, which they're not. We're all in the same playing field when it comes down to it. God said there is no one who is righteous. Everyone does evil. Everyone thinks evil. Everyone speaks evil. And I'm not talking about those three little monkeys. I'm talking about you and me. We all do it. Your gender has nothing to do with it. You are sinful by nature. And God has provided a way to overcome that sin nature. If you want it for yourself, you need to, first of all, admit that you have that. Admit that you are not worthy of God. You need to admit that you are a sinner. You need to say, I don't want to do that anymore. And you need to ask Jesus to not only cleanse you and heal you, but you need to believe in what he has done, that his sacrifice on the cross, that him being on the cross and shedding his blood paid for those sins, that he is alive, he was raised from the dead, and he lives, and he sits at the right hand of the Father, and you need to accept him as the Lord of your life. You give everything over to him. That is the only way to overcome these things. Because you can act all superior to everybody else, but God knows the truth. So quit focusing on everybody else and the flaws and the faults and blaming others for how you now respond to the world. And take a look at yourself and say, how can I correct this? And the correction is Jesus Christ. This has been 5 Minute Ministries, and I'll see you next time.